The Monster Energy British Motostar Championship returns to Assen and once again mixes up the best of the ONK Dutch Championship runners with the best of the BSP Championship runners, and a fascinating mix it is too. They've really, if anything, the British Superbike paddock has acquitted itself rather better this year than it did last year, so we've got a very, very entertaining mix of Dutch kids and British kids running at the front. The current standings in Moto 3, Joe Francis, who's had misfiring problems all weekend, currently leads the championship table from Taron McKenzie, with Joe Irving running in third place, and then Hobson, Sam Berman, Jordan Weaving, Taylor and Booth Amos rounding out the top 8. The 125 GP standings in the Motostar Championship, Tom Kahn with a handsome lead on his Honda ahead of Peter Sutherland's Aprilia. Arnie Shelton in third place ahead of Callum Bay, Ed Rendell, Stephanie Wadlow, Elliot Lodge and Taz Taylor. The starting grid, this is the entertaining mix you see before you. Jerry van Bunt of the Netherlands is on pole position, number 21. Second place for the man leading at Donington Park on his Ryan Saxelby 125 until the bike stopped with 2 laps to go, Irishman Andy Reid. Ernst Dubink is in third place. The second row of the grid, headed by South African Jordan Weaving, ahead of Joe Irving and Bo Benderschneider. The third row features Thomas van Leeuwen ahead of Taron McKenzie and Brian Slouten. And the third row of the grid, Joe Francis ahead of Ed Rendell and Tom Kahn. Behind them, we've got Jorel Boerboom, we've got Peter Sutherland and little 14-year-old Lewis Rollo making his return to racing after breaking ribs and puncturing his lung a few weeks ago at Anglesey, the 2012 Super Teen champion, riding for RCD Motorsports, which of course is the father of the man who won his World Superbike Championship 10 years ago right here at Assen, Neil Hodgson. Mark Hodgson, the man behind Lewis Rollo's return. It's a great mix then, a really entertaining mix of kids. Benderschneider running on the second row of the grid, the outside of the second row of the grid, won the Honda European Junior Cup at Assen and the Nürburgring as a wild card. Goes to Spanish CEV Moto 3 next year. So we've got some really promising kids on the grid here, headed by Jerry van der Bunt on pole position. The sun is now out. It is really hot out there. The weather has turned around completely. The autumn sunshine has burned off the cloud. There are just perfect conditions and 39 riders on the grid.
Man in second, Andy Reid, is the only 2-stroke on the first 4 rows, Jack. See it smoking away there before he sets off. There it is.
Beautiful. And how tall is Andrew Reid? Look at that.
It's a little bike, though.
Right, we're ready to go. Van der Bunt on pole, Andy Reid in second place, Dubink in third. Oh, look at the smoke from that solitary Ryan Saxelby bike. And Andy Reid, where is he off to? He did a Fogarty then, veered his way right over towards pit lane, elbow to elbow with Ernst Dubink.
Still fencing.
Oh, and he's got there first.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if you're going to lock horns and knees with somebody, you don't really want it in this class to be Andy Reid. He's hard as nails, is the boy.
Andy Reid brilliantly somehow fences his way to the front with that smoking 125 of Saxelby's. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And behind him, I think, is number 21, Van der Bunt, who was on pole position.
Yeah, Van der Bunt is a really small, as well as small kid.
As they carve their way now along onto the back straight, Van der Bunt in second place. Taron McKenzie's made a good start as well. Taron McKenzie, I think, on the red line. KTM is right up near the front. He's in fourth place behind Dubink, Reid and Van der Bunt.
A lot of fencing going on now. I think that's Joe Irving round the outside, number 66 in about 5th. Oh, and number 64 there carves his way through. That's Benderschneider making a strong early move on Van der Bunt. So number 64, but oh, what was that flew off the Ryan Saxelby bike? Oh, don't say that.
Well, I don't know what it was. It looked like Andrew threw something away at that point, didn't it? I don't need this. We're on the first lap of 12.
Don't be doing Ryan Saxelby a disservice. It might not be his fault. He puts a good bike together.
No, I thought it was something off his leathers. I don't know what it was.
Could well be. They're a bit old. Might be a knee slider even.
I thought it might have been that. And and look at that. That's number 64, Benderschneider, the lad who won those 2 rounds of the Honda European Junior Cup here at Assen and at the Nürburgring, snatches the early lead. And he's looking mercurial. Look at the rate at which he's taking off. Andy Reid in second place on the RS Ryan Saxelby bike, the two-stroke running at the front. Third place for Dubik, fourth Van der Bunt, fifth Joe Irving, sixth place for Joe Francis. Have they sorted out his misfiring problems? They've changed everything, including the wiring loom, the engine, trying to get the thing to run smoothly.
Bender Schneider, you know, the lad in front, he's 14. He's tiny, the lad from Rotterdam, but he was really quick. They found something overnight because he's gone from fourth on the grid, fourth in qualifying. Whether they have problems, I don't actually know, but he was quickest by quite a long way in warm-up this morning.
Running in second place, still number 67, Andy Reid. Right behind him is the number 61 of Ernst Dubing. There's the number 40 bike, the WD-40 bike of Joe Francis, looking like he's going a bit better today. There's Taron McKenzie, 95. He's developed his dad's long, skinny legs. He looks amazingly like the old man now. There's that Taron McKenzie, and he's just behind that familiar number 71 bike of Thomas van Leeman, the 19-year-old. Just behind them, Jordan Weaving.
Joe Irvin's having a good run, you know. Bike number 66 there.
He is. He's and there is Joe Francis making a move on the inside of Van Leeuwen. I think he's forced his way through. Van Leeuwen on that beautiful machine that you used to dream of racing in, a Nico Backer chassis on that bike. Bender Schneider leads the way, second place for Andy Reid, ahead of Dubing, Van der Bunt, Irving, Francis, Van Leeuwen, Weaving. McKenzie has been battered back to just inside the top 10.
Yep, that's Andy Reid in second. Uh-oh.
Steady, boys.
that nearly didn't work for the pair of them.
And as they cross the line, it's Bender Schneider with a 1.2-second advantage and fastest lap, 1:46.796. Dubik, Van der Bunt, Irving, Francis, Van Leeuwen, Weaving, McKenzie and Ed Rendell rounding out that top 10. So it's a real, at the moment, the Dutchmen tend to have the upper hand. It's only Andy Reid on the two-stroke who's really sticking himself right in amongst them all. Irving and Francis running 5th and 6th.
Yeah, the whole of the Dutch Championship is on Moto 3 bikes. They're all four-strokes, mostly Hondas, whereas the Moto 3 bikes, 6 or 7 in BSB Moto 3, are actually a mix of Hondas and mostly KTMs, to be honest.
Although he's down in 7th place, Thomas van Leeman from Hattem near Zwolle, he's actually leading by 29 points the Dutch Championship. In fact, he's just made a move there on that distinctive blue and orange bike. He's just flung himself past the WD-40 bike of Joe Francis back into 6th place. He currently leads the Dutch Championship by that 29 points, and if he were to clinch that championship, he'd be the third generation to do so. His uncle was Dutch 50cc road racing champion, and so too was his granddad. Andy Reid absolutely on the limit, challenging hard. He's lost out there a place to number 61, Ernst Dubik from Dahl, and he's trying to fight his way back and at least stay on the rostrum.
Yeah, fighting's probably what he's best at.
Taron McKenzie not managing to live with the front runners at the moment. He's just got dropped off this queue of riders battling and jockeying for positions. And Van den Bunt there, number 21, looked strong in practice and in qualifying, but has been pushed back to 4th place now in the race. 1/4 race distance coming on to the 4th lap, and a handy, fastest lap again, 1:46.54 for Bender Schneider. Dubik 2nd, 67, Andy Reid in 3rd place. Joe Irving on the Taden Tati Pump bike running in 4th place ahead of Van der Bunt, Van Leeuwen, Francis, Weaving, McKenzie.
Yeah, and Andy Reid on the two-stroke now has got a phalanx of 4-strokes right behind him. He's not going to be able to fend him off. They have a little bit more mid-range coming out of the corners. Just a little bit easy to ride in that respect. You know, they've just got a little bit of punch. You don't have to be quite as accurate with them. Still take some riding, though.
Number 67 there, Andy Reid still hanging on. But look at that, number 66 right behind him. Squeezing the gap, Joe Irving from Holmfirth on the RS Racing Toad and Tatey Pup KTM, which Ryan Saxelby was embarrassed to inform Mr. Whittam ran out of petrol at the end of the race at Donington Park.
In actual fact, yeah, effectively it ran out of petrol, but it was because when it turns out a wire came off the fuel pump, which means it ran out of fuel because the wire broke.
He's been attacked at the moment by number 71, Thomas van Leeman, the leader of that Dutch Championship right now, who would who actually designs and makes his own fairings.
Yeah, he does.
Quite impressive.
Really good job. You know, a lot of people back in the day used to make their own bodywork, and some of it looked all right, and some of it just looked like a rubbish Airfix kit that your little brother have made, and a glue everywhere. But his are actually that good. He sells them within the paddock, and apparently they're really efficient aerodynamically wise as well.
And then, that's number 67, Andy Reid, getting in a few fisticuffs here, but it might have cost him. He's got to get back across and hit the apex early. He does.
Yeah, Joe Irvin who suffered there.
So crossing the line, and Bender Schneider still with the lead. Dubbink and Reid locked together, and Van Leeuwen trying to get the better there of Joe Irving. He had him across the line, but Irving squeezes back past into 4th place. Yeah, Van Leeuwen's fairings are used by the Dirk Heidoff racing team in Germany for Jack Miller and John McPhee in the Moto 3 World Championship.
Sorry, look at this. I've got to say, Andy Reid, big move there around the outside of the Bink, and it worked. Andy Reid riding somehow.
So the number 64 leader there, Bender. Oh, and down goes. That was number 61, Dubbink, I think, who went down.
I don't know quite what happened there. Did he clip the back of Reid? I think he thinks he clipped the back of Reid for sure.
He's not too impressed.
He's not too impressed with that.
Oh, but it's actually cost Reid a bit of time in the sense that Joe Irving has danced his way through.
Not for long.
Not for long.
Yeah,
no.
not for long. I want to see that again because I want to see that again.
Oh, steady on, son.
Because Ernst de Bink definitely thought that Andy Reid, the number 67 rider there, played a part in that. I'm sure he clipped the back end. I'm sure that stuffed the brake on hard of de Bink, and that's what fetched him down. Right, you're looking in the back of the shot, yeah. So I reckon something happened. Maybe Andy Reid missed a gear and de Bink ran in the back of him. And I'm thinking, I haven't seen, but I don't think the Dutch Championship requires them to have front brake lever protectors, because that would have prevented that happening, Jack.
So Bender Schneider leads it. De Bink is out. Reid is fighting for every inch of track to hold on to that 2nd place and managing it so far against Joe Irving there in 3rd and Thomas Van Leeuwen in 4th.
Yeah, strange. The number 2nd man there, 67 by the 2-stroke of Reid and the 66 4-stroke KTM of Irving are both prepared in the workshops of Ryan Saxelby up there in Sheffield.
Look at how hard Andy Reid brakes. See the front end of that black bike, number 67, drop under braking as he... Oh, and he's trying to turn tighter than... Joe Irving.
Well, you've got to say this is quite entertaining. Watch, Reid's looking for an outside line that'll put him on the inside. No, he's gone for the outside line again. He's trying every way to get past Joe Irving.
Carrying that bit of corner speed as he comes out of Distrubble onto the back straight.
This is the shot again, look. Something happened there. It was like there's something hanging off the right-hand side lower fairing of Reid's RS Honda there, and he looked to pull something off. He looked to pull something off the bike and slowed down momentarily, and I think that's what fetched de Bink off. He was pulling something. Watch, he's pulling something off the bike, or something happened with the bike, and that's made him go to this. I don't know what happened there, but I must admit I've got a little bit of sympathy at this point now, seeing that with Ernst de Bink, because he was given nowhere to go there.
So at the moment then, Bender Schneider, Reid, Irving, Van Leeuwen, waving Van der Bont, Francis McKenzie, Schluten and Rendell. That's the top 10 ahead of Bourbon and Tom Kahn lying in 12th place, leading the 125 championship race at the moment.
This, Jack. What's going on here?
Thomas Van Leeuwen has punched his way through into 2nd place.
Jordan Weaving's going good here. He's come from the back of that group. That is the man just going. There he is, the man on the red and fluorescent yellow back there.
Drops through the hurt timber chicane, grabs 3rd place, and now, as you predicted, Andy Reid being swamped by Moto 3 machines as he tries to keep that number 67 Ryan Saxelby 2-stroke in contention.
He's never been passed in a corner, hasn't Reid? I'll just say that.
Yeah, exactly. The leader there, Bender Schneider, proving that he'll be a force to be contended with, I think, when he reaches the Spanish CEV Championship next year. 2nd place now for Van Leeuwen, the Dutch Championship leader. Can he join his granddad and his uncle as Dutch champions? That would be quite an achievement, I think. 3rd place, number 34, Jordan Weaving. 4th place, 67, Andy Reid. who is responsible at the moment for a magnificent left arm and shoulder tattoo that's being sported by fellow Irishman Jack Kennedy. A really beautiful work of art.
He's had 2 6-hour sittings. Can you believe that?
And each one of them very painful. I said, why did you go back for the second one then? Oh, well,
he wasn't finished, that's why. Wasn't a bit funny about finished tattoo, Jack.
Well, and Andy Reid, I tell you what, he is a master of that craft as we watch him get stalled at 2 places, stolen at once there by Van der Bundt and Joe Francis. Oh dear.
Joe Irving, that one.
Oh, Joe Irving, sorry, got me Joe's mixed up. I'm just wondering if Joe Francis is still having misfiring problems, James. He's not going as quickly as we expected him to.
No.
He's just about hanging on to this group.
I would say absolutely there's definitely, and even if he isn't having the same misfire problems, you know, the setup of the bike has suffered because he hasn't had the track time with the bike going well. So, you know, even if the engine is running properly, it doesn't. Yeah, well, you expect that from Andy Reid, don't you? Look, he's going to do something else. You just worry a little bit, don't you?
Well, he is fighting hard for every inch of track. This is a young Ulsterman that really impresses Philip Neal. He said he'd look to have the budget to be able to run him next year. Bender Schneider crosses the line to complete lap 7. Van Leeuwen second. Weaving, Van der Bundt, Reid, Irving, Francis, McKenzie, the top 8.
Just watch mid-corner speed now with everybody who's around and watch him on the brakes. Andy Reid is without any question the quickest man through the corners, with the possible exception of Bender Schneider. We've no way of telling because he hasn't been with him long.
And Andy's still in the fight. There's the current standings. Bender Schneider with a 5.5 second advantage over Van Leeuwen. Weaving in 3rd place, Van der Bundt, Reid and Irving. There's the number 65 race leader.
Yeah, look how he gets tucked in.
Andy Reid, the moment he couldn't see him there behind Jerry Van der Bundt.
And again, he gets zapped down the straight. Oh dear, that's Weaving.
Jordan Weaving, the young South African, stealing a march there on the pole setter Jerry Van der Bundt. And there's number 66, Joe Irving, tucking inside Andy Reid. Reid gets right out on the curbs, almost onto the AstroTurf.
Yeah, it's the important thing with these relatively low-powered bikes, Jack, is to carry every little bit of speed out the corner that you can, and that entails running wide from mid-corner and just about keeping it on the track. You cannot square the corners off of these things, because you get them squared off, you open the throttle, sit the bike up, and it doesn't go anywhere because it's only got about 50 brake horsepower.
Leading that group, Van Leeuwen, ahead of the sparkling red and yellow machine of Jordan Weaving, number 34. And 16-year-old home first schoolboy, number 66, Joe Irving, trying to make a move on pole setter Jerry Van der Bundt. And he's going to have to deal once again with Andy Reid, swooping round the outside and grabbing the inside line. Van der Bundt goes inside as well.
Wide,
oh, very wide.
Oh!
Weaving tries to sit up. He gets blocked. And that means that Andy Reid can get back past. And Jordan Weaving really suffered as a result of Van der Bundt's move there.
And watch when Reid got past there by the number 21 Van der Bundt there. He gets right in the slipstream. Straight, as soon as he's on the straight into the back of the slipstream.
And he bangs the back of his seat as if to say, follow me.
No,
I don't really want to.
Actually, what he's saying is, it's a difficult position for Reid. He's got a slow bike on the straights. He's quick in the corners for whatever reason. And that means you're getting held up where you're quick and you can't go quick where the other guys are quick. So really what he's saying is, look, we'll all go quicker if you let me get at this and you follow me. But as a rider, you hate to see somebody do that. If somebody taps the seat, you think, right, that's how you want it.
And I think that they might be just ganging up on him down the back straight now.
This is Reid cutting across from the start, and he's under investigation because...
So Andy Reid there as oh, that looked fairly clean to me compared to the...
Yeah, yeah, Reid's under investigation for both of those moves. The one off the start for me was just tussling, not a problem. The second one, there's an issue with the bike. I'm sure he pulled something off the bike. I don't think he meant to do it. It wasn't that he shut off the bike mid-corner on purpose. I just think that something happened to that RS125 Honda, and I don't know. I don't know whether...
Van Leeuwen, they're still there. Oh, look at the Toad and Tatey pump bike trying to get round the outside. 2 Ryan Saxelby bikes together. Number 66, the 4-stroke. Number 67, the 2-stroke. Weaving's gone down. Jordan Weaving's gone down. And look at the state he's left that particular bike in. Oh, look at that lot together. Watch them as they come rushing down into the Hurt Timber chicane. Andy Reid scrambles his way through once again. Ahead of Van Leeuwen, the leader of the Dutch Championship. There is number 66, Joe Irving, trying to get a drag on number 71, and once again Andy Reid looks using as much tarmac as he possibly can to hold on to that second place. You've got to admire
you've got to admire him. The thing is, it's so difficult to do what he's doing, because one little tiny mistake and you've kind of lost the advantage you've got. You've got to be accurate, you've got to be smooth, but you've got to ride hard as well to not get stuffed everywhere. It's a good ride, this.
Andy Reid. Oh, and Andy Reid.
Something's gone wrong with it. I'm sure some. Oh, has he just got punted wide?
He got forced well wide there and just lost 3 places in one hit going through to Strubben, which is going to make it very difficult for him to recover onto the rostrum, I think.
We'll see.
On the 10th lap of 12, 3/4 race distance.
I'm not sure whether Reid's going to be... well, there he's at the front of the pack, but look, Reid swapping to the inside, look. Oh, dear, dear. What's going on?
Oh. I've never seen a more courageous rider than this. I think he's phenomenal.
I'll tell you what, it's a brave run is this by Andy Reid, I've got to say. No disrespect to the rest of the lads whatsoever. This is a good battle, and it's brilliant to be involved in something like this, I can tell you, but Reid's the one out there that's sticking out further than anybody else, I'll tell you.
And a big complete game of ping-pong here. Talk about not knowing where the ball's going to bounce next. I think Bender Schneider's 6.5 seconds clear of this lot, comfortably in the lead. This is the battle for rostrum places.
I think what we're seeing here is a swan song for the 125 GP bike here, Jack.
And I tell you what, it's a big swan song. It's a thrilling swan song for the 125 GP bike. Look at it! Oh, trying to get around the outside there. He's way wide, but he still vaults back on track to try and hold his land, and that forces Van Leeuwen wide. Van Leeuwen goes through the gravel. The 19-year-old Dutch championship leader goes out. Joe Irving looks over his shoulder. It's clear behind him.
I'll tell you something. Andy Reid's having a good race here, and we're enjoying watching, but he ain't making no Dutch friends at this rate, I'll tell you. Oh, dear. I'll tell you what, they'll be coming down the paddock with pitchforks and lit torches. That's Tom Kahn.
Oh,
someone's happened to Tom.
And that could be Tom Kahn's first DNF for the young man from Lancashire who leads the British 125 GP Championship.
Oh dear, I'm a bit scared for what might happen this last lap. We've got one lap at the end of this one.
And at the moment, number 21, Jerry Van der Bont is now in second place, off pole position. Behind him, the man of second place on the grid, number 67, Andy Reid.
Now this is, look, Reid gets pushed a little bit wide there by Van der Bont, and then it's one of them, and you know, the thing is, I've got to have some sympathy, because he's having to ride this hard. It's not like he can expect to get a result by just riding around and following him. He has to pass him where he can pass him, otherwise he ain't going to win anything.
And what he's doing is passing every possible time.
Wherever he can.
He has the chance when that bike gives him an advantage. The black flag for number 67.
Oh, well. Well, the black flag's gone out for Andy Reid.
Tell you what, he's given us a heck of a race.
Well, I don't think he's going to come in anyway. I think he's got one lap left at the end of this one, and unless he actually spots the black flag, which can take some spotting because you're not looking for it. I don't know if he's going to come in. Yeah, they're saying from race control that Andy Reid is displaying a lot of unsafe manoeuvres. Well, yeah.
Tell you what, if you mix 125s and 2-strokes against 254 strokes, then you're kind of going to get a bit of
not so much that, but you're right in this case, but it's because the bikes are different in different areas. One's got an advantage one place, you're dead right.
That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, I know that. But it's not just because of the fact that the 2-strokes and one's faulty, but you're dead right. And that's... I feel a little bit sad now for Andy Reid, because he's riding his heart out here.
No, I just think the race has fallen apart in front of our very eyes. That was an extraordinary encounter for 10.5 laps. But now Bo Bender Schneider has a clear lead on his final lap. Jerry Van der Bont will take second place, and Joe Irving, hopefully for the Taden, should take third place. That's a back marker in front of them, so the number 164 bike is being, the 124 bike is being lapped.
I'll tell you what, if we see Andy Reid's head on a spike on the gate on the way out of the circuit, we'll know the Dutch people have got to him.
Oh, and it's still Joe Irving in here, really rattling one another.
I told you he wouldn't stop. He will not have seen the board and the black flag.
And Andy Reid, there is Joe Irving, moves back into third place on track. Andy Reid still tussling with him for that third place, but at the moment Bender Schneider with a 6.5 second advantage, completing his demolition job on the combined Dutch and Motostar British Championships here.
Is that all right?
Van der Bunt in second place, and definitely Joe Irving is going to take third place, though at the moment Andy Reid still thinks he's very much in the race, and he'll be attacking Joe Irving as they swoop round the fast right-hander at Ramshoek and head down to the final chicane. Bo Bender-Schneider then takes a brilliant victory here at Assen. Second place should, I think, go to Jerry Van der Bunt. As they cross the line now, Van der Bunt takes second place, Joe Irving takes third place, Andy Reid in fourth. He will, of course, disappear from the proceedings there, which means Van Leeuwen will be elevated to fourth place. Joe Francis in fifth. Taron McKenzie recovers to make sixth place. Battle is still going on downfield as we look to see who's going to finish in seventh place.
Still at it.
Oh, steady on, boys. And as they come across the line, I think it's going to be number 26, Boerboom, who gets across the line first ahead of Schluten and Ed Rendell in ninth. And I think Lewis Rollo making his return, riding for Mark Hodgson, making his return after that big crash at Anglesey a few weeks ago, is 11th place, just loses out to Brink on the run into the track, finishes 11th ahead of Peter Sutherland, and then Person Brewers, it's not any relation to Ferry Brewers, and Arnie Shelton gets the final point in 15th place ahead of Taz Taylor. But that man, Bo Bender-Schneider, takes a brilliant victory here in the combined Dutch and British Championship. Look at their average speed, James, close to 95 miles per hour. That's not hanging about.
That isn't for a bike with about 50 horsepower.
So the final result then, this man Bender-Schneider takes victory over Van der Bunt. Irving is the first British rider home ahead of Van Leeuwen. Joe Francis salvages fifth place ahead of Taron McKenzie. And then Boerboom, Jorel Boerboom is next in seventh place, followed by number 142, Brian Schluten. And then Ed Rendell in 12th place. And number 122, Ricardo Brink, rounding out that top 10.
Yeah, I've got to say once again that I feel a little bit sorry for Andy Reid. The moves were harsh, I'll admit that, and I'm not surprised they've kind of done what they've done. However, I felt that he was just having to do what he had to do on a bike if he wanted to finish on the rostrum on that bike.
The actual 125 front runners, James, in that race, 9th overall, Ed Rendell takes 125 honours in the race ahead of Lewis Rollo, number 88, in 11th, and Peter Sutherland on his Aprilia in 12th place.
Just shows you then, doesn't it?
Exactly. What an amazing performance Andy Reid was putting in. I think I'm going to launch a campaign to get Andy Reid onto a competitive motorcycle in any class that we possibly can. The result of the race then, Bo Bender-Schneider takes victory ahead of his Dutch compatriot Jerry Van der Bunt. Joe Irving with the fastest lap of the race on his last lap. Joe Irving gets third place for the Toad and Tatey Pub team ahead of Thomas Van Leeuwen. Joe Francis, WD-40 Honda, in fourth place. Taron McKenzie on the Red Line KTM is sixth. I beg your pardon, fifth for Francis, sixth McKenzie, seventh for the Jorel Boerboom, 8th for Brian Schluten, 9th for the first 125 home, Ed Rendell, ahead of Ricardo Brink in 10th. 11th place, Lewis Rollo, welcome back, kidder, 14 years old. 12th place, Peter Sutherland, ahead of number 74, who is Alex Persson from Sweden on the Nordgren Racing Honda. And 14th place for number 25, Mike Brewers from Grudenberg on his Honda. And the 15th and final point scoring position for Arnie Shelton ahead of Taz Taylor, Daniel Costilla, Ward, Stephanie Wadlow and Thomas. The standings in the Monster Energy British Motostar Championship Moto 3 category. Joe Francis still leads the way on 203 points. Taron McKenzie still second on 167, 12 points clear of Joe Irving in third place. Fourth for Hobson, fifth for Sam Berman, ahead of Jordan Weaving, who crashed out of that race. And then Taylor, Booth, Amos, Simpson and Person rounding out the top 10. Where do you start with the highlights? The Motostar Monster Energy Packed 125 Moto 3 Championship, and Andy Reid doing everything he can to get the Ryan Saxelby 125 smoke billowing two-stroke to the first turn first, and he makes it eventually, weaves his way into turn one at the front. And the tall 19-year-old Ulsterman then gets involved in a huge battle. Number 64 is quickly to the front. That is Bo Benderschneider from Rotterdam. And he begins to check out and leaves this huge battle going on for second, third, fourth, fifth, and the rest. You can see Benderschneider there taking off at the front. And then this moment when we lose... I can't remember who we've lost. Oh, yeah, one of the Dutchmen goes down. De Bink goes down and kicks, Ernest De Bink goes down and kicks the barrier to show his displeasure. And then all this shenanigans going on. Jordan Weaving makes a mistake, gets a victim of someone else's mistake going into the final chicane. Andy Reid has to pull himself back across after getting forced off track, and he takes out Thomas van Leeuwen, the leader of the Dutch Championship. And then the black flag goes out for Andy Reid, who's been riding his heart out on the leading 125 two-stroke. Number 64, Bo Benderschneider, takes victory, a clear victory for him. Behind him, Van der Bunk takes second place, and Joe Irving in third. The 125 GP Championship standings after 10 races. Tom Kahn still leads the way on 172 despite going out of that race. Peter Sutherland is now second, 6 points ahead of Ed Rendell. Arnie Shelton in fourth ahead of Callum Bay. Stephanie Wadlow an excellent sixth ahead of Taz Taylor, Elliot Lodge, Bradley Ray and Andy Reid.
Well, we are here with our race winner, Bo Benderschneider. Bo, great race from your point of view. Once you got the lead, you were away. How did it feel?
Yes, thank you. My start was not so good, but after one lap, I passed everyone. And I say to myself, go, 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 push, push. And I win the race with 6 seconds, I think. And yes, thanks to my team, thanks to everybody that helped me. And yes, it was great.
Very popular with the crowd. They were cheering you naturally, but you may go to Spanish Championship next year.
I hope next year the Spanish Championship, but yeah, we will see.
It's great that we've seen you ride here like this before you go there. Well done. Go to the podium.
Thank you.
There we go, our race winner, Bo Benderschneider. He makes his way up to the podium. Whilst that's going on, we have to take a short break, so we will do that now. We'll see you back here at Assen in a couple of minutes' time.